No, the show didn't start late because I was pooping, chat. It started late because this ska thing came up yesterday, and I got into it, and then I was like, I'm going to play all ska music tomorrow, which is today, and then I got into and I was grooving, and it was cool. I was like, I got to start, and then I remembered it was Friday, so then I had to play the 2 Friday songs that I always play on Fridays so that you people would be satisfied. And in the meantime, I was getting my little ska background going. I had to find this online. Give me a little checkerboard vibe, right? You get it? I'm going to do like 8 minutes by myself. And then Josh Gregory, who's our senior music correspondent, hasn't been on in a while. He chimed in the chat yesterday when we started talking about ska music. He's like, I want to talk about ska. I was like, yeah, I want you to talk about ska. Josh is about my age. He did college radio about the same time I did. He also recognizes the album I was talking about called Ska, the Third Wave. That's incredible. You heard like half of it in the half hour of music leading up to me actually talking on the show. And he's going to come on. We're going to talk about that. And then 11 o'clock is Scott Wilson. That'll be predominantly sports, I'm sure. But I mentioned to him that ska's on the table today, too. So I got the checkerboard going. Looks like I look like a fish fry in some places, right? Like, I'm a fish fry. I watched a lot of sports last night. I had to run the kids around because we had a basketball practice and a baseball practice, which is typical Thursdays. Although if Zach's team loses Thursday, no more practice because this is the semifinal. And once you're done, you don't practice anymore. So we've got that this weekend. Semifinal game. We got multiple all-star games. We got Nate pitching in a scrimmage for his 11U travel team. And Sabres play tonight against Detroit. NCAA tournament is continuing. Baseball is fully underway. There's a lot going on in the sports world, and all I'm thinking about is ska music, which, you know, I'm allowed to do that. I'm being asked questions about the radio station today in the chat. And, yes, I will be on WGR. There won't be shows next week. There won't be Riter Radio shows next week. You can find me at 1 p.m., on WGR, which is on pretty much anywhere you push a button. It's on AM 550 still, but like 107.7, 104.7 FM. If you're in Rochester, we're on multiple places there. But it'll be me. So in theory, this is kind of like the week that I did with Tim Graham. I did 2 weeks with Tim Graham, but the whole time I did it with him, he was like kind of there. Because we did a show, then he was sick for 3 days, then we did a show, then he was at the Combine for 3 days, then we did 2 shows. And this is going to be similar to that in that the first 3 days of next week, he is at the, I'm going to call it the owners meeting, but I think there's another name for it now. It's the same thing. It's a conference of NFL people. Tim goes. So that happens Monday through Wednesday, and then he'll be back in studio with me Thursday and Friday, and Owen Parker will be there Monday through Wednesday, and I don't know if he'll be around Thursday, Friday, but it'll be me. I'm doing a show, and then I got Owen right next to me, which is awesome, especially because, fingers crossed, during that time span, that's about when the Sabres are going to clinch a playoff spot for the first time in 14 or 15 years. They last played in 11. I did this math yesterday, 15. That is not difficult math. 26 minus 11, 15. It'll be the first time they're in. It's a 14-year drought. It's the first time in 15 they're in. Or will be. So, yeah, that's happening. And as far as, like, the future of that, not locked in any way, but, yeah, that's happening, too. So there's going to be, it's not just next week. There's going to be more details to come. But yeah, I'm going to use their microphones in their studio instead of my microphones in my basement moving forward. But I'm still going to do this on some level. I don't know. I don't know yet. But yes, I'm going back there next week. And yes, it will continue beyond that. I don't know that it's like locked in and we're just, yes, I'm now on at 1 o'clock. I don't know. But The future is going to involve a lot more of the radio station and likely less of this, but this is still fun, so I like doing it. So maybe this becomes like a podcast and not a live stream. Dude, I don't know. A lot of you have a lot of questions, and I don't have all the answers. Aside from the one where, yes, there will be more of me at WGR next week and beyond, but not necessarily continuously. I don't know, man. I just know it's good. It's good. I have a good connection there, a good relationship there. I'm okay at doing this, apparently, enough that they've said, yeah, we're gonna have you here more. So what does that mean? I don't know. Is that fair? Did you get enough information there? Like I don't even know how to talk to my wife about what's going on there, or my parents. Like, what's happening? I don't know. I know it's good, though. There are lots of positive things happening. So there will be more WGR in the future. Today's show will feature way too much ska talk. Not really. The next half hour will. Because I'm going to talk to my man JG in a couple minutes. I even have an open for him. For a little big voice intro. Because he was my senior music correspondent when this show was on the radio hundreds of episodes ago. Today is 285. The first 100 were on a radio station. Then they decided to part ways with me. And then I've done the rest. We're at 185 here. And coming up on 300. 300 should be a spectacular show. I don't know when it will happen, with next week being off, and then who knows about the future with the station. But, I mean, minimally, Riter Radio will continue as a podcast. Because I can't just, on GR, it's like sports, and I love sports. But I have a lot of fun talking about other things other than sports. So I need an outlet for that. And I've got all this equipment and the cameras and all this stuff. I've even got a checkerboard background now for when it's Ska Day on March 27th for no apparent reason. Just because I went, hey, I liked ska. What happened to that? It's not like in our, it's not really in circulation in the same way that it was 20 years ago or so, 25 years ago, 30 years. It seemed to come out of nowhere. It seemed to vanish into nowhere. And it still feels great every time you have it on. Like, why would you not want to have, it's the partiest music of all time. Why would you not want that? So that's where we are. All right, let's see. See what's in the chat. And then very soon we'll check in with JG. You guys chatted a lot. All GR next week, gonna have to find something else to get me into my lunch from 10 to 12. I usually just play old shows. You can play old this show? There's lots of them. You haven't heard them all. Arbo, Niagara Grit. Is it weird that I call you Arbo? I like you as Arbo. Derek. Time for them to make it permanent. I'm ready. Thanks for loading to Apple Podcasts again the last few days. Yeah, I got behind on uploading the shows. But yesterday I sat and did it. I committed, I don't know, like 3 hours to you people after the show was done, while also working on baseball stuff. There's a lot of baseball stuff. Putting together rosters for like T-ball and coach pitch, and we've got a 10U and a 12U evaluation, and then draft coming up next week. That's going to be a hell of a day. Monday's a hell of a day. I've got 1 to 3 on GR with Owen Parker and then Tim Graham, who's afar, but he'll be on for a segment or two or something by phone. And then I get out of there and come home, kids off the bus, blah, 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 dinner, evaluation for 10U, evaluation for 12U. I have to prep everything for that so the coaches are ready and make sure I got all the people in place and all that. And then we got to figure out drafts for both. I have to draft a team in both because I'm coaching in both. That's just Monday. That's what Monday is. Oh. which is also that'll be national. No, wait, no, that's not national championship. That's the following week, right? Because we're in the Final Four right now. I'm talking about this coming Monday. The final week's crazy, or the next week is crazy too. Oh, because it's the day after Easter. Then the kids are off. This all sounds like a massive headache to me. Somebody asked, did you get paid? Brad, did you ever get paid for the original 2 weeks you were on WGR? And I said, the original 2 weeks in 1997? Because that's the original 2 weeks would have been back then. But, yeah, there's going to be a lot more GR coming up, which is cool. Kane in town. I keep forgetting he's a Red Wing. That's right. Patrick Kane is a Red Wing. There are questions in here about whether I was high because of the music I was playing. No, we talked about this yesterday, man. We talked about this. I like the ska music, so I played the ska music. Ska is reggae adjacent. There's punk that is ska adjacent or ska adjacent. And I don't know. I just like those songs, so I was playing the songs. And I got into it. Then I had to play the Friday songs, and that's why there's been so much music today. All right. I told Josh I'd call him 10:30, give or take 5 minutes, and it's 10:33. So I'm going to rip through a couple things on my screen here, and then we'll call him. I liked the ESPN top headlines today. They include Arizona Rolls handing Calipari worst tourney loss. Gervin irked QB Williams filed Iceman trademark. I like that. Phil's Bohm, which is Phil's Bohm sounds like a weird phrase. Philadelphia Philly Alec Bohm accuses parents of siphoning money. That's a fun headline. Kyle Tucker being good for the Dodgers in their win last night is interesting, as he's a controversial, massive signing for them that is probably going to be that guy right there and his contract are probably going to be the thing that next force baseball into a work stoppage. So, rooting for him is weird. My wife's doing it. My wife decided she's a Dodgers fan a couple years ago, and now it's like she was so psyched. They were on NBC. I don't know when baseball came back to NBC, I guess yesterday, but she was into that. She doesn't understand why every game isn't on television. She just thinks she should be able to watch every game. And she was happy to have that. All right, stuff on my screen. Boom. What's this? NBA presents 3 comprehensive anti-tanking proposals. Kyle Tucker. Then I got a bunch of ska stuff open. I should call Josh. I'm going to call Josh. You can just sit and wait while I do that. All right. He'll be live. I think it sounds good when you call somebody live on the air.
Yo.
I think it sounds good when you call somebody live on the air and they're live immediately. There's the ringing phone, and then suddenly they say, yo, and they're there. You are our senior music correspondent, as is documented by our big voice guy, who's not playing.
Let's check in with Riter Radio's senior music correspondent, Josh Gregory.
What up, JG?
Morning, how are you?
I'm good, man. Why have you not been on for so long? We just don't do this. I don't know why.
I don't know. With the move of my house and all that, it was probably just constant something going on and never setting plans.
Who moved your house?
Myself.
Oh, you picked up your house and you moved your house?
The entire thing. Everything on the inside.
That's amazing.
Feats of strength. Of strength. It was during Festivus, so that actually worked.
What made you decide to stop being a regular, first ring suburb guy and be go full hick?
A couple of different reasons. School being the first thing, and my bride works out there, so it makes perfect sense. So
let's skip everything else. She's out there, you're going there. That makes sense.
That's about it. No, but I love it.
Why am I in Amherst? Because my wife grew up in Amherst. That's how you do it. You just shut up and move.
Yeah, exactly. Do what I'm told. I've 51 years and I'm finally starting to learn real things.
Yeah, here you go. All right. So the reason that we're talking right now, and I don't know if you've seen the YouTube version, but I've got a black and white checkerboard behind me today.
Oh, I saw. Yeah,
Because I stumbled onto the ska idea yesterday, and when it became like a thing in the 90s, it felt like, wow, this was here the whole time. Why weren't we doing this already? Like collectively, popularly. And then it faded. And then every time I think of it, I'm like, well, every one of those songs is awesome. Every time I hear anything that sounds like that, and I can't even fully define it. Like I was looking up definitions of ska and what is ska and what's adjacent to ska. And this started, honestly, with my mother-in-law being in the van and Rancid being on. And she just went, is this ska? I was like, what the hell, Joan? You know, like, what? Yeah, kind of. It's close. It's not really, but maybe. So I don't know how to define it. I don't know why it was everywhere for a while and then it went away, but it doesn't sound dated. There's nothing about it that it could be from the 1950s and it could be from today. Every one of those songs. So like, I don't know, man. I don't even have an opening question. Just ska, huh?
Well, I got a question for you, and you kind of, because you know what you mentioned that disc, you know, the third wave.
Yeah.
And really had to think about it, like all the different waves of ska. What was the first time you heard ska? Because I can remember when I first heard it and was like, "What is this?" And I was a kid. I was. You probably were in the same camp. MTV introduced me to so many different bands, just like anybody else, right? But it was Madness, the band Madness.
Uh-huh.
And I remember thinking, like, why do these guys have all these horns? And why does this not sound like Benny Goodman? And I mean, Madness was huge. They had, you know, Our House, which was their big hit, but they had a couple of other videos on. And I remember always thinking, like, this is a whole lot of fun. And a quick sidebar, was in a dialogue with Ron Hawkins and somebody else about ska music not too long ago. And I said, there's no such thing as a sad ska song, which of course one of his buddies immediately proves me wrong and plays like a sad ska song.
Right.
But I think that's why it kind of goes and comes in waves, and it has for you know, since probably the 60s, I would guess. It's fun music, right? It gets you in a mood, it gets you going. And I'm unbelievably grateful that we, you know, we're in our 20s or whatever, during that time where there was that massive revival. And working in college radio where we had it all over the place. And did it fizzle out? A little bit. I got some thoughts about that. But damn, what a great time for tunes.
I'm reading about it. It started in the late 50s. Obviously, it's connected to reggae. Obviously, it's connected to Jamaica. But there's a syncopation that's there. And that plus horns, and horns are a party. I tell this story all the time, but I went to a concert. Again, this is probably 30 years ago. It's close, whatever. My uncle, who's not much older than me, he's only 5. He's not only 5. He's only 5 years older than me. Excuse me. He always loved the band Chicago, and Chicago was coming to Darien Lake with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And he had a ticket, and he's like, do you want to go? And my thought was, I don't love Chicago, but they're fine. And I think seeing CSN, like, I should do that. So I'm going to go. And I went, and CSN was fine. They were boring. Chicago was incredible. Why?
Sure.
Why? Live horns. Live
Yes.
horns with a rock band is absolute magic. And I remember some sort of festival. I mentioned this yesterday. You might have heard it, but it was downtown. It wasn't Music is Art, I don't think. It was something else. But 5440 played, and Treble Charger played. But there were, like, multiple stages. You're walking around. And I distinctly remember a ska band playing, and it was like 14 people on stage. It was just a local band. It was the best thing you could ever, like, why would you ever not want to be standing on a street with a beer, a closed street, with a beer, with live horns happening? Like, it was magical. And I don't know who they were. I don't know when it was. I don't know what the festival was. but live horns are a thing, man. It's electric. It's so live. The Talking Heads tribute band that I love called Start Making Sense is coming to town May 1st. They're bringing horns with them. I've seen them twice. Once was great. The second time was greater because they had the horns. They've got the horns again. Like, live horns. I don't know any better way to put it. Luckily, I've got 3 kids. One plays sax, one plays trumpet, one plays trombone. At some point, this is going to turn into a thing, a local, like, Riter ska band, I think.
I think I mentioned that to you when I found out your son was playing trombone. I was like, you could start a ska band, man.
Wow.
Like, first thing that I thought of, not like, oh, yeah, he can play in a big, no. Horns rule. They just do. There's another local band that's more straight ahead rock. They still play Great Train Robbery.
Yeah.
They played the bar that I worked at. I was a DJ at Old Main Inn, for anybody who doesn't know, in the 90s. And we had live music. And they came, and they had their horns. And damn, if it just doesn't change the entire face of a band and music that they're playing, it's just... It pulls you in, man. It's like this wall of sound. It's like Blue Oyster Cult and 3 guys playing guitar. That stun guitar. Horns change everything. And like I said, man, we grew up at a time where it kind of just blew up. And no matter what festival you went to, you mentioned that one, or shows on the waterfront, or wherever you went, chances were that one of the 3 bands on the bill was going to be a ska band.
Right. Just horns. I mean, in the way the 80s got it, man. 80s pop and rock got it just with saxophone. I don't know why there weren't other horns involved in the 80s, but think of that vibe. That was something too. Not the same electricity that comes with a whole horn section, but saxophone was omnipresent in early to mid 80s pop/rock, and all that stuff still sounds great. The production is crap. The gated drums are terrible, but the saxophone of it all, like everything is just geared around that. I mean, the Lost Boys is better because of the shirtless saxophone solo. I still believe. Like, that was incredible. Why don't we just do that more? Why aren't the horns everywhere?
Stupid trivia. I can't remember that guy's name. He was Tina Turner's sax player for years. And I remember when I saw the Lost Boys, I was like, hey, that's that guy that plays with Tina Turner. I mean, you can't miss him. The guy's a freaking bodybuilder.
Oh, it's like Fabio playing saxophone.
Right, playing the sax with wearing chains and all greasy. I was like, yeah, okay, sure. But it still sounds cool. It doesn't matter who's playing the horn. You can have the biggest dork in the world rocking out on a sax, and it sounds amazing, and everybody's into it.
I want everyone to Google Tim Capello. I Googled Lost Boys sax player, but I think I'm not going to try to do it right now because you won't be able to see it. There's a Reddit thread called Oily Sax Player Scene from Lost Boys, but the pictures of him are unbelievable. This guy's great. He's a multi-instrumentalist, composer, and vocalist, primarily known for his saxophone work supporting Tina Turner in the 80s and 90s. Nailed it. Tim Capello.
That's him. And boy, you're right. It's a horror movie, and there he is up in front of all these kids at the beach at some weird concert, and it fits. It just fits. I was thinking about a lot of the bands and the way it kind of filtered into the Buffalo music scene, because in the 90s, there were a lot of decent ska bands right from here. And I was trying to think of all of them this morning, and the only one I really remember was a band I think they were mostly from kids from the North Towns. It was called Mexican Session.
That's the band. That's the band I'm talking about. That's who I'm talking about.
Them.
Mexican Session. Yes.
Unfreaking believable. I have no idea. I really wish I knew what happened.
They were better than 5440. On the day that I saw 5440 and Treble Charger, they were better.
They were amazing live. And I remember some of my friends that were in bands, we were catching, I think I caught them at Nietzsche's once, and they said, we need to practice more. They all were laughing. They're like, these guys have it. And they weren't around for very long. I'm sure they all grew up, got jobs, and did whatever. But, man, they were solid. I don't have a lot of CDs. I remember you were talking about CDs yesterday. I got rid of most of my CDs, but I kept ones that I knew I would never, ever, ever see again. And Mexican Session had an album called Full Color Bitch Slap Attack. And that is one that I saved. And actually, I looked at it this morning and was like, yeah, we're talking about ska today.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you so much for bringing that back. Now that I know the name of them, I might be able to find some information on what the hell this thing was. There's another vague recollection I have, and I feel like it involves Tim Connolly. That day, like he got traded. Either it wouldn't have been that they came to him, and it wouldn't have been, maybe it was the day Pekka got traded for Connolly and Pyatt. All of it, there's a Tim Connolly part of this Mexican Session 5440 treble charger walking around downtown with beer story in my head. And now that I know the name of the band, I might be able to put this together. So I appreciate that. I got a message in there that my correspondents are 100% great. Because people, you haven't been on in a while, and there are people that have been listening, that are like newer listeners. But I bring on correspondents because they're good at this. And yeah, like I don't know, there's no real direction to this. Our conversation about you coming on was, hey, Josh, ska? And you're like, all right. And that's it. So I don't know, where it's going or what. But you know what I would like to talk about? Ska, the pop version of it. Like Bosstones are, a gateway drug to ska.
Yep.
We got into the Real Big Fish version of it. Sublime is somewhat related. Goldfinger was a thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like talk to me about what you recall of sort of the crossover from, not Scofflaws and MU330 and the stuff that we know about because we were college radio jerks, but the stuff that was eventually like top 40 and MTV hits and that, like Sublime. I don't know if I said them already, but like that stuff that kind of brought it to the mainstream.
Yeah, Bosstones, who had been around forever. And they kind of came out of the Boston punk scene where Joe Gittleman was playing with Gangrene and stuff. And, he actually wanted to move in a different direction. So, the Bosstones are back. And they also got kind of popular by doing the MTV thing, right? They had Someday I Suppose was a video. And I think people, once they recognize things and they see it more often, just like anything else in life, it kind of takes off. And the Bosstones were so influential with some of these other commercial poppy bands, as you just mentioned. Next thing you know, late 90s, late 80s, mid to early mid 90s, you see bands like Real Big Fish, who are now all of a sudden everywhere, that we probably had heard, again, being in college radio or whatever, we knew they were there, but they all just exploded. And the Bosstones just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, that I think if you asked anybody, do you know a ska band, they're going to say the Bosstones.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be the one that they're going to, talk about. But they also, the reason that all these other bands got so big, they took all these little bands with them on tour. So if you were seeing the Bosstones, you were going to see the Toasters. You were going to see Bim Scala Bim. You were going to see guys that you probably wouldn't have heard before.
Yeah.
Pie Tasters, right? All these cats, Dropkick Murphys, which is not a ska band, but
right, but it's adjacent. It's all adjacent.
But it's adjacent,
it's
right?
punk, but it's punk with horns. I don't know. Is that it? Is that all ska is? Punk and reggae with horns?
And that's that third wave, right?
Yeah.
That's where it went from being stuff that I really listen to a lot now, like Skavuvi and the Epitones and stuff like that. A little more chill, kind of backyard relaxing music. Introducing the punk side of it and the ska core thing, I think was so appealing because it was still kind of hard, but still really melodic with the horns. And it wasn't as heavy as that whatever new metal, new core, all that kind of stuff that you could enjoy. But again, as I mentioned before, they were all at the same festivals. They were all at the Warped Tour. They were all at Lollapalooza. And it made it acceptable to so many different people where they were going, I'm going to see Limp Bizkit or whatever, but this other ska band's playing over here. Nobody walks away from a ska band saying that sucked.
Nobody walks away from a ska band. Nobody walks away.
Nobody does.
Put them on stage. Nobody's leaving.
It's happy music.
Right.
There's one sad song, apparently, that a ska band did. Other than that, it's just fun music. It is.
When you said
Goldfinger's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's got a little harder edge. It's a little bit faster, rancid sort of, but it's still accessible for everybody, and that's what makes it so freaking cool.
Somebody brought up in the chat, No Doubt. I forgot about that. There's definitely a connection there. Less Than Jake. I had a buddy that was like his favorite band, and then his next favorite band after that ended up being like Good Charlotte. It's a bridge between so many different genres. Really, it's kind of everything. And let's see if you agree that there's a connection here. There's also, and it's not ska, but it's still in my head, like lives in the same space. The swing revival that happened. Along with along with swingers, obviously, but like there's a connection there where it was just like, yeah, it's old timey, but
there's a huge
check
connection.
it out, have fun. Yeah.
I wrote that down because I wanted to talk a little bit about how there was that, because I remember Swingers, obviously the movie was huge. I think I borrowed your Big Bad Voodoo Daddy CD. I was into this other band called Royal Crown Review, but there was another ska band called Cherry Poppin' Daddies, and they evolved into a swing band. And I saw them. I can't remember the club. It was down in Lackawanna somewhere, but they played with Real Big Fish. And it was more of these guys are still sort of ska, but they're moving more into this swing thing, which was really big for a cup of coffee. But again, it still hits the same. I will go see a big band now, and you respect the horns and you respect what you're hearing. And again, it's popular for a reason. And all that music from the 40s was popular for a reason because it's just freaking cool. It is the horns. Whether it is swing, whether it's big band, whether it's ska, it's fun music that gets everybody up and dancing. You can't look down your nose at it. You just can't.
I'm so glad you made the Cherry Poppin' Daddies is the exact connection there. Is that Zoot Suit Riot? That's them?
That's Zoot Suit Riot. That's those guys.
So it's like, I didn't love that particular song, but how do you not love the vibe of all of it? And it's the horns. It's just, I think that's all we're saying is that we like horns, maybe. And I'm curious, like, is there, to your knowledge, any sort of scene right now of any of this stuff? Because it seems like we're ready for a fourth wave. I'm ready.
I see, and you and I have made fun of this, not on this program, but the giant festivals with the posters that they come up with, the headliners, and then 4,000 teeny little bands.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot and I'm a dork, and I go through all those teeny little bands. Do it sometime, and you're bound to find 4 or 5 ska bands that are all playing those festivals.
Okay.
They're still around.
Because it's party music.
Because it's fun. I keep saying it's fun and everybody likes it. They're still there, and I know a number of the bands that were kind of big faded, and they broke up or whatever. But a lot of them have gotten back together. This morning was just listening to Bim Scala Bim, and I found out they're still together. The core guys are still out there and bopping around, coming to a stage near you sometime, I hope. So I can't say that they've gone away, but it's just not as big as it used to be. And where most people are getting their music from, I can't say. Is it Spotify? Is it just their own playlists? You certainly don't hear that on the radio anymore.
Right.
That's non-existent.
Right.
Maybe on the station that NPR turned into, I don't even know what it's called, The Bridge. I'm sure you probably hear a little bit over there. But unless you are putting it on your own device yourself, or it's on a random playlist that you're listening to, whatever provider, you're probably not going to hear it.
I don't know how.
Which is a travesty.
Yeah, right. I don't know how if I don't care at this point. I'm 51. What's the difference? I don't need new music. I've got enough stuff in my head. Like you just saying Bim Scala Bim. I'm like, yeah, I could go listen to everything they've ever done, and that would be brand new to me, and that's fine. Like I've got resources. I can have a conversation with a person I know knows music, and that will teach me about new music. Or I can talk to Chris Parker, and he'll be like, yeah, you got to hear the new Sturgill Simpson project, and I'll be like, yeah. And then a song popped up on Sirius XM. I went, oh my God, and texted him. He's like, yeah, that thing blew me away last night when I got it. I don't know how, if I'm 20 years old, I'm learning about new music. Like TikTok can't be the answer. I don't know. I don't know how it spreads at this point. I feel for the artists that are putting out great stuff that nobody's hearing because it doesn't come up in an algorithm. That's frustrating to me as a fan of music, since I was 5 years old, just hearing stuff on the radio. I miss the radio, not just the part where I talk on it, but the part where you listen to it and you find out about new music and new artists. And, I remember where I was, like, when Bullet with Butterfly Wings, not that it's a great song, but I liked Pumpkins a lot. And I remember exactly where I was when I heard that song for the first time, because it was the debut on the Fox or the Edge or whatever it was at the time.
Yep.
Like, stuff like that. I remember, where I was when I heard Call Me by Blondie. Like, there's just, I don't know how that happens anymore. It's just a different... Everything's on the computer. Everything's on the phone. Everything is playlists. I don't want playlists. I want curated music by people who are paying attention. Whether there's payola or not, I just, somebody tell me what's new and what's cool and what's interesting, and I'm in. But I not now, not at 51, but at 20, I needed that. At 8, I needed that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that exists anymore.
And how exciting was it to take those bands to your buddies? It sounds stupid, but it was kind of like this badge of honor.
Hell yeah.
Of, I discovered this, and first time that you introduced a cool band to somebody else and then they got it. I remember, I mentioned Ron Hawkins. I remember coming back from college and a bunch of my friends that obviously didn't go where I went had never heard of Lowest of the Low.
Yeah.
But that band is now one of the biggest bands in their repertoire. And I felt good about that. Like, hey, I got to introduce them to them. I got to introduce somebody to Pie Tasters or whoever it might be, from a ska thing. And then taking somebody to a show is even that much more fun.
Right. I introduced Appetite for Destruction to my buddy Sean. I mean, that's crazy. I got that because I read about it in Rolling Stone or something, and then I saw the album cover. I was like, yeah, skulls on a cross. Let's go. And I bought it. And then I listened to it, and then I made a copy for him, and I gave it to him. And I remember riding the bus. We're in middle school, junior high, because it's 87. I'm like, Sean, did you listen to it? Yeah. He's like, yeah, I heard the first song. It's pretty good. I'm like, you have to listen to the whole thing. And then, like, the next day on the bus, be like, I listened to the first 2 songs. It's good. I'm like, Sean, you have to hear it. And, like, a week in, he's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I was talking to my son, who's now 13, about, I'm like, you will never understand how, like, I asked him, did you ever get into this? He's very into 90s music, but has nothing to do with any 80s stuff, really. And I was like, I don't know what was on the radio. Mr. Brownstone was on the radio or something. I was like, have you ever gotten into this album? He's like, no. And I was trying to explain to him how revolutionary that album sounded. Like, I had never heard a singer in a rock band say bad words. And, like, when he did, I'm like, oh, I had to, like, turn it down and, like, hide, and I'm listening on headphone. But it wasn't just that, but it was that. It was the snarl of it all that I discovered because of an article and an album cover, and then shared with a dubbed copy of a cassette to my friend, and now we still bond over this band, and that was 1987. So, like, I don't know how that happens now, with sharing of music. I don't know how it goes down. How do you discover things?
Yeah, honestly, it's probably just what I said. It's you telling me something.
Yeah.
It's, if I bump into Chris, not that I see Chris that much anymore, but, hey, check this out, or I got this. I never heard of Jason Isbell, right? Obviously not ska music. Never heard of it. Freaking amazing.
Right.
Loved it. And honestly, I kind of prefer it to be that way. I don't really listen to radio that much anymore, which is a shame. But that's really the only way that I'm going to notice something. Or you're right, if it isn't a reel or something that I happen to stumble across on social media and go, hey, who was that? What was that? Hopefully it's credited properly.
Right.
I don't, times have changed, man. We're old, and I
noticed.
It kind of sucks, but at the same time, we get to share all this music with our kids, and that's massive. That means the most to me, that my daughter will grow up listening to really good stuff, whether her mom's sharing it or I'm sharing it. It's passing that along. It still feels good to do that.
I did the math on it, and my son loving music from the mid-'90s is the equivalent of me being 13 years old and listening to music from 1944. Like, it's so stupid, but it's crazy and it's fun, and I like sharing that with him, and I'm proud. My kids have no idea about, well, my youngest does. My youngest is into, like, K-pop Demon Hunters, but the other two, they just know the good stuff, and it's cool because I don't know. I'm proud that they are out, spreading the good word of the stuff that we grew up loving. So, all right, Josh, you can go do whatever you do during the day. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to put on the Boston's for a sec, and then probably something else.
Perfect.
And then Scott Wilson's going to join me. And thank you for joining me on Ska Friday here on Riter Radio.
I appreciate you having me on, and going to have people out soon, and you can come out and enjoy 4 varieties of ice.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you. Josh Gregory, our senior music correspondent, joining us. Quick timeout. It's episode 285. It's Riter Radio. I feel like the show has been good lately, but one thing that has happened, and I keep not fixing it, is I can't figure out how to put the cartoon face of Scott Wilson or Bob Gahn or whoever up on the screen. I've lost it. Like, it's there, but it's hidden behind stuff, and there are all these different layers of this, and I don't remember until I'm trying to do the show. And like, I've got Scott on, and I'm like, all right, let's put Scott's face up. So I'm going to play around while Scott's talking and I'm talking and see if I can get his fake face up there. But as of right now, it's just going to be my face and no Scott. But I got a checkerboard thing behind me because it's Ska Friday. What's up, Scott Wilson?
What's up?
How are you, man?
Good. I got a lot of stuff. I'm ready to roll.
All right. Well, why don't you just
This is
go?
exciting.
I won't even ask you a question. You just start, and
First of all, it
react.
was a good conversation about ska. I think that's an interesting thing that you have to bring up, which is it just kind of came out of nowhere, then disappeared, and has not been back.
But it's still there, but nobody cares, and it's so
Right.
fun. Nobody dislikes it every time it's on, and it stems from my mother-in-law getting in the van, hearing Rancid, and going, "Hey, is this ska?" And I was just like, let's talk about ska. So I don't know. That led to half an hour with Josh about ska.
There was about, I don't know, 8 hours there in the 90s where swing dancing came back.
Yes.
Too.
Right.
If you remember that.
Well, yeah, and
then just immediately disappeared.
And they're kind of
whole thing.
related. Like Cherry Poppin' Daddies is kind of the bridge there. It's like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, but it's live horns and old timey music. The swing lacks the syncopation of ska, but it was all kind of there, and I felt worldly listening to that stuff, and I still do.
Yes. Now, here's the other thing. Here I am. I'm relaxing, just enjoying a Thursday afternoon, and I get a text in our group text from a Mr. John Fuller to inform me that hot dogs have been put on the table here.
Oh, no.
And I got to tell you, it's like, you ever watch a wrestling match where you just knew the Undertaker was dead? And he did the sit-up. He does the sit-up thing where he just sits up and puts somebody in a choke. That was me yesterday. I thought we were done.
We are done.
I thought we were all done with this. And now it's like, here I am. They pulled me back in. I'm back. It felt like when I read the text, it felt like the glass shattering and the song of Stone Cold coming in.
I specifically
I was like,
said,
"Oh my God, I'm back, baby."
No, I specifically said on the show, nobody tells Scott Wilson, and John Fuller, right in my face, like, I'm gonna tell Scott Wilson. I'm going to tell Scott Wilson and you at the same time. I'm going to tell Scott Wilson while telling you that I'm telling Scott Wilson. Here was my point. I think the 999 thing is absurd because, God.
First of all, it should be a German thing. 999
and beer.
But it's a baseball thing.
You're right. It could be brat.
Right.
It should be bratwurst. You're right. It should be you drink out of a stein and it's bratwurst. All right. Here's what I said. And I'll shorten it because I made a lengthy thing out of it. But I don't think that 9 beers during a baseball game is, if they're 12 ounce, regular sized beers. I don't really consider that a challenge. Now again, here's the deal. I pointed out.
We're back, baby. We're back.
I'm talking about summertime, 1:00 in the afternoon, 83 degrees. Like, I'm pretty specific on the whole thing, but in the right context, 9 12-ounce beers during a 9-inning baseball game. Pre-pitch count, though. The pitch count is something, or pitch clock is something. Here's the deal, though. I think 9 beers is doable, and I absolutely think 9 hot dogs is doable. I don't think the two of them together, I want nothing to do with the two of them together. But one or the other, to me, is not really anything. Now, this is how the pistachio thing started. I recognize that. I want you to know that there's no part of me saying I could do the two at the same time. I think the two at the same time is disgusting. I think one or the other I could do without flinching.
Wow. I'm so excited. This is great. Yeah, no, we're gonna do it. You're gonna do both at the same time.
I'm definitely not doing both at the same time.
Yeah, no. This is all but.
I'm disgusted by both at the same time.
Well, it wouldn't be a fun challenge if there wasn't some type of disgusting element to it. I mean, yeah, you should feel ashamed with yourself. Of course.
No, both are disgusting on their own to regular people. I'm just saying I'm a large person.
But you're no regular person.
I know that.
You can do this.
I can consume a lot of stuff. I don't have any interest, and no amount of shaming. My God, my texts are blowing up. The chat is blowing up. September, here we come. No.
We are so back, baby. We are back. Listen, Mother Nature has come. The ice has thawed. This is, oh my goodness. This is like a George Harrison song right now. This is beautiful. Here comes the sun, baby. This is it. The hot dogs. We're back with hot dogs and beer. This isn't
or beer.
No nuts
or beer.
No donuts.
No, the real
hot dogs and beer.
Right, the real
baseball.
Stuff. The stuff we do on purpose.
I have countered with 7 hot dogs, 7 beers, 7 innings at a UB home softball game over at Nan Harvey Field, which is a beautiful field, by the way.
It's great.
It's right in the shadows of UB, old UB Stadium.
Wouldn't you go to jail just for drinking a beer at Nan Harvey Stadium?
Who's going to stop you? You're Brad Riter. And you're coming with the whole broadcast team, probably. You know what I mean?
I'm not doing.
We've all got you. Like, you have the polo shirts.
I do have the polo shirts. That's right. You do recognize
Who's gonna
them.
Stop you?
When you're out somewhere, you see somebody, you're like, that's a person that works there, because you can't just buy these things at Macy's. Yeah. You know, they don't sell this shirt at Kohl's. Like, we got the real stuff. So yeah, you're right. I've got the secret password.
I think we
clothing.
should do it at a UB softball game. Listen, we could also try it at the spring game.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let me try it at work. That sounds like a perfect idea. All right, look, which do you feel would be more impressive? Let's go Nan Harvey Field. So let's cut it to 7. That's fine. 7 hot dogs or 7 beers during a softball game. Because does either one of those sound like a challenge to you? I don't mean to you. Does either one of those sound like a challenge for me to you? You've seen me drink beer. You've seen me eat hot dogs. Which one? 7 of either of those is anything? No.
It could get interesting if you get a pitcher's duel, like a quick. You get a couple aces on the mound,
right? And
you start 3 up, 3 down.
Yeah.
That starts to go quick, and now all of a sudden that 7, you're thinking you're going to get a solid couple hours out of that, and then all of a sudden that turns into, like a 70-minute, pitcher's duel, 2-1. You could be in trouble. There. You know what? Ordinarily, no. I think you could do it. I definitely think you could do this easy.
Right. But yeah. I'm not doing both. I'm telling you right now. Like,
even if I thought you couldn't, I would never tell you that beforehand. I mean, I am not. This isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah,
I'm not stupid here.
I know.
Do I think you can do it? Hell yeah, I do.
Which do you think is it?
I think you could do double. I think you could do 14, 14, 7.
Okay. What we need to learn right now is to eliminate the both things happening conversation. I have no interest.
We're both doing them. You're going to do both. Yeah, you're doing both for sure.
Separately, I would do 2 games where I would do each of those things.
Right. All right. Well, let's make it a doubleheader day.
It can't be the same day. It cannot be the same.
It's a doubleheader day.
What's the right way to go? Would you go hot dogs first, then beer, or beer then hot dogs?
Ooh.
on a doubleheader day? Because this did cross my mind. I knew you. It's not my first rodeo either, jerk, and I knew you were going to say that.
I think I would do hot dogs game 1 because then the bread would absorb the beer. Game 2. I don't think that you want the empty stomach for the 7 beers.
Here's my experience with drinking and eating at the same time. Like Thanksgiving, for example. There's always plenty of beer around, and I don't have a single drink because I'm going to eat and then I'm going to feel bloated and terrible, and I don't want anything then. So like I don't like to have you go out to dinner. I don't like getting a beer at dinner because I'm about to eat, and beer, I feel bloated. I don't know how to burp. I think we've talked about this before, but I can't get rid of the gas from the. I just no. If I'm doing one or the other, I'm fine. But there's no chance I'm doing the two, even in a doubleheader same day situation. So wipe that out.
All right, so you can't burp.
Table. I don't know how to burp.
Something.
I don't know how to burp.
So what you're saying is that we should treat you like one of those cows in the field, where we might just stick like a needle in your stomach.
Maybe.
Let the gas escape.
Maybe that would help. Yeah.
And then we can go back to it. We'll get a.
It might help.
This is going to be great because we can go to UB and be like, we're going to do this. We're going to promote a softball game. We're going to get you your biggest crowd you've ever had for a home softball game. We just need you to supply a veterinarian. Because he can't burp. My man can't burp.
Right.
He's going to need some help around inning 4. And I just need somebody to tap into the gut, get the air out, and then we continue on.
Right. All right. Have I made it clear that I'm not doing the two things at the same time?
You're doing both. I hear you. You're doing both. I got you. Hot dogs and beer.
That's disgusting. I'm disgusted by that. I'm not doing it. Either one sounds awesome, though. Sounds like a treat. Sounds like a fun day at the ballpark.
All right, so if you do hot dogs, what are you drinking? Just water?
Or nothing? Yeah, water. Yeah.
I mean, you got to drink something.
I don't have to drink anything. Water, unsweetened iced tea. I'm drinking unsweetened iced tea today. It's delicious.
Yeah, but what would you drink like if you were a man? Not tea. You wouldn't. You're not a British gentleman. We're talking about hot dogs here. I mean,
nothing.
Maybe we get a sponsor. Get a sponsor on this.
Water.
So get a drink.
Kool-Aid. No, I don't want Kool. No, I could. See,
could you do 7 hot dogs, 7 Kool-Aids?
What is a Kool-Aid? What's all Kool-Aid? There's not even a standard
cup. Red Solo cup of Kool-Aid.
No, I don't want 7 cups of Kool-Aid. What are you talking about?
All right, 7 innings, 7 hot dogs.
Stop.
7 cups of jungle juice.
No, nothing. No 7 cups of anything. No. My
7
point. See
shots
again.
of
You're shots maybe. You're bastardizing.
Yeah, here we go. All right.
Well, they're smaller. That's 7 ounces. You just said 7 ounces of liquid. 7 potent, terrible, toxic ounces. But all right, here's the thing. You are bastardizing my point. My point is that either of those things, and we've dropped it to 7, but 9 and 9 is nothing at all to me. The beer thing is absolutely nothing at all. The hot dog, I think by about hot dog 7, I'll be like, I wish I didn't do this. But I for sure could get through 9 hot dogs.
Oh man, this is exactly what being at AA must be like.
In what way? What are you talking about?
Because I've seen you do these challenges and fail.
You've made me do them.
And now enough time has passed, and you're like, you know what? I think I could just have a glass of wine with friends. I think I could just, I could. Now that I've got enough time, I've really got one. I can just have one beer. I can just go out. I can drink I can just, all right. So, so if I go out to play pool, I take 1 bump of Coke. I can do, it's not a big deal. I can handle it now.
All right.
And to see you just walk right back into the door, I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy about it.
But the problem again,
making my spring.
The problem again is that you're not listening to the words that are coming out my mouth, which are I think hot dogs are fun. I think beer is fun, and I enjoy baseball, and it would work. Like,
right.
my point is that neither.
This is exactly right. Right.
My point is that neither of those things is a challenge, and that I'm just you have to listen to all the words. Neither is a challenge. Both together, disgusting.
Doing both.
No way. Not interested. Never trying it. I'm telling you right. I'm never
softball game.
I'm never gonna try to do both. I would no. I'm not gonna say those words because you
6
use
hot dogs. I'm not. 6 beers, 6 innings.
Little League.
Williamsport. Little League World Series.
No.
Come on.
No.
No, I mean,
the game's an hour and a half long.
ESPN.
That's an hour and a half. 6 beers and 6 hot dogs in an hour and a half. No, I'm not doing that.
Well,
Dude,
yeah, you're not gonna do a Curacao versus the Netherlands. You'd have to get a good old fashioned American matchup.
Chinese Taipei.
Right. Yeah.
No. I'm not doing both. If you wanna make this a thing, I will do one or the other. I am not doing
Which
both.
would you choose?
I don't care. Neither
no,
sounds
gun
like
to your
anything.
head. Gun to your head. You have to pick. You have to do one.
Which do you think? Which do you
pick?
think is more impressive if I complete it? Which one will make you proud of me, Scott? Which one will? Which one will my mom? Which one will my mom like best?
I think the most responsible one is the hot dogs.
Is it? Is a hot dog better for you than a beer? I bet it's not.
I do think of all the challenges that we've had and talked about, I really, we're coming up on season 15 for me here, 16,
of
something
football?
like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I've been with you. You and I have roomed together for almost all but 2 of those, right?
Yeah, it sounds right. Yep.
So 14.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen you. I've seen you drink 7 beers.
Oh yeah.
That is. I think that to me is the one that I feel like. Again, that to me feels more like time permitting. You know what I mean? If it's an hour-long game, I don't think you could do the 7 beers, 7 innings. But if it's like a regular game where it's 7-6, something like that, there's runners on bases.
Yeah.
I think that's probably something that you could do.
It's something I might do accidentally. That's if it was free beer night or dollar draft night. Think of it that way. If it's dollar draft night or dollar dog night, I could do either one of those things by mistake.
I've seen you drink a beer on the way to get a beer. You know what I mean?
No, but that sounds awesome. When did I do that? That sounds great.
I feel like we've been at a bar and you're like, all right, well, we're probably leaving, and you got half a beer, and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna
Let's grab a beer.
I'm just gonna grab a beer here real quick before we go, and you down the half a beer, walk over, get another beer, and everyone's like, all right, we're ready to go, and you're like, oh, really? I just got another beer.
Give me 8 seconds, and it's gone.
yeah. And then it's like, give me 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, you're like, all right, we can go. Hold on, let me grab a beer.
All right. So So as we talk about this, like I said, I think here's a good way to put it. I have accidentally had 9 beers over the course of the time that a baseball game would take place. We'll call it 2.5 hours. I've accidentally had 9 beers in that amount of time. I've never in my life accidentally had 9 hot dogs. That's impossible to do. You can't accidentally have 9 hot dogs, right? There are also things to consider with regard to the beer, and if I'm ordering a beer that to drink on purpose, that I want to drink, it's probably an IPA. I'm not having 9 IPAs. We're down
No,
to we're down
this
to
has
light
to be
beer here.
Miller.
Yeah, we're down to Miller Lite.
Or Coors, yeah.
But even with hot dogs, there's a massive difference between, say, a Salen's and like a Nathan's. Like a Nathan's is, I mean, there's a reason they use those in the contest, right? The 4th of July contest. Those are easily, digestible is the wrong word, but easily put down, as opposed to like a grilled Salen's. Like a boiled-ish Nathan's is just like gone. So there are other things to consider as far as like brands and sizes and stuff like that.
Condiments?
Or
Or are you just straight
raw dogging?
Are you literally raw dogging it?
No. I mean, I could. I don't know.
Do you want something on there? I'd let you put condiments on there.
I think I'd mix it up.
I'm fine with that.
I think I'd mix it up.
Okay.
Dude, I've put down 3 hot dogs walking from the snack stand to the car at the end of a long day of Little League. Like, that's nothing. And those are grilled Salen's, I think. Or Wardinsky, whatever. They're like the full size. Those are nothing. They're nothing. But, again, not 9. 9 beers by mistake has happened. It's happened to the best of us, and certainly to the worst of us like me. 9 hot dogs in a day has never happened. So that to me, that one's a challenge. The beer one is just like, hey, look at Brad, he's doing it again. The hot dog thing that's at least something. But I that's the one where I'm saying I think I could accomplish it. The beer one is just like that's a joke. That one's a joke. And doing the two together, I'm never going to do. So that was the premise of the show yesterday, for like 5 minutes, where I also said nobody tell Scott. But here we are.
Yeah. And like you said, John not only told me, he told me in front of you, basically.
He told us together.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
He wanted to make sure that everybody knew. And, listen, God bless. That's what friends are for. I'm just so excited that you're back in the game.
I'm not in a game. There's no game.
I feel like yesterday afternoon, I get a text message, and it might as well have just been a fax that said I'm back. It was like Jordan coming back.
If Jordan never won anything in his life, and then
Jordan
he laughed
never
and nobody
won
cared.
anything and was only talking about hot dogs.
And
It
beer.
was like Michael Jordan sent me a text that just said, "I'm back,"
I'm back.
and I'm just excited. I just, I can't wait because this opens up the door to everything.
You know what sucks?
And this is
You know what sucks is that I forgot that this is how you were gonna assault me today. So you're like, I got it. I got a lot. And I was like, all right. And you're like, I talked to Fuller, and I thought this was going to be about football, and it's half an hour of hot dog talk. God damn it! I did this to myself.
I threw out other options because we're playing at Florida International this year, so that opens up a lot of things. I threw out there, I believe it was 1 paella, 1 mambo, 1 cigar.
Yeah.
Or no, it was 1 paella, 1 Cuban cigar, 1 hour.
I'm not even entirely sure what paella. I know that it involves egg, right? Is that paella?
I think it's just a rice and seafood dish, which is why I think you would be involved in that. Because I know that you like both of those things. I know you shy away from any seafood that doesn't have heavy cream, but it could be a possibility.
Did you do you know the genesis of this whole conversation? It was me going through all the new food items available at Major League ballparks this year. And one of them is lobster poutine, and it's basically lobster meat with clam chowder dumped over it with French fries under it, or I don't know. It looked very much like seafood Newburgh, but in cardboard outdoors in the summer.
Over fries.
And just looking at the picture of it, my stomach started to hurt, and then I could not tell the story of seafood Newburgh in the Bahamas. Yeah, but this is where it started, and there are a bunch of Major League teams offering this 999 challenge, and that's what led to this conversation.
Yeah, well, you're in.
Huh?
We're in. Because I think we could.
False.
I think if you do if you do the 7 challenge, I think it could be something where other people will do it with you. Other people will say, I too will stand for America and Brad.
It is American. It's very American. It's very
It's
gluttonous
as
and
American
American.
as it gets,
Yeah.
honestly.
All right. So issue a challenge. Issue a challenge. I'm telling you right now, I say no to both at the same time. No. But
I think you've issued yourself the challenge. It's what
not doing it.
what are you willing to do? What are you?
I want to hear what will impress you? How do I impress you, Scott? That's what I want to do. I want you to be proud of me.
You're never going to hear it, because if I tell you that I'm proud of you, then it just stops all progress going forward. Then there's no more motivation.
All right.
I
Well,
have to. If you do this challenge, I have to look at you and say,
I'll put it this way. No, you haven't
No.
challenged me to anything. No one, you haven't issued a challenge. There's no challenge. No challenge has been issued. So, I don't
would
know.
you
what to say.
rather do a full baseball game, or would you?
I think all of it is funnier when Nan Harvey is involved. For some reason, I just think
Okay.
I just think that's funnier. But I also don't know about. I don't know about doing
If
this
it's
at a
here's
place of
the thing.
employment.
All right. Here's the thing. I think you could probably just bring a grill and be in the outfield and do the hot dogs at Nan Harvey Field. I think that's probably no problem. I don't think anybody would say anything about that. You know what I mean? As long as it wasn't open coals,
Right.
I think
Just
you could
little-
probably.
little hibachi
I've got
type of
a little
situation.
gas grill. Just roll it up there, cook them, throw them down the gullet, watch the game, do it, and then tape live to tape type of situation. I think you could also do a live 9 beer thing, like probably from your house during like a Sunday night baseball
Oh, that's
broadcast
true. That's true.
type of thing, where you could also get involved. You could have you could do like a Manning cast type of things, where you would have people just over to your house,
Yeah.
come down into the basement
yeah.
for a couple of innings while the game is on. You can't broadcast it, but it's a companion thing, so you could watch
Watch and
along
talk.
with it.
Watch and talk.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't hate that. Is that the beer one?
Right, because I don't think
beer 9
just
years.
with your high profile position at the university, I don't think you could just roll into the outfield and say, listen, just to let you guys know, for my own personal podcast, I'm getting shit
I'm
faced.
gonna be pounding 9 beers in your outfield. If you don't mind. You cool with that? Think they'd let me coach third?
Only if you did it before the end of the game.
I'm saying if I did it, like doing it from a coach's box would be pretty great. That would get you on SportsCenter. Now, I don't know that the UB softball team is striving for SportsCenter, but isn't everyone?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
What's the challenge, Scott Wilson? You talk a good game. You won't do that.
Well, I laid
What?
the 2 out to you. I
No,
think if
challenge
you're
me
gonna
to
do the
something.
beer-
Challenge me.
No, I think here are the 2 challenges.
Two
You
challenges.
want to separate it, that's fine, as
Right.
long as we're getting it in there.
Right.
I think for you, the challenges, the real challenge, would have to be 9 and 9 for beer. It has to be a baseball game for beer, because I think the 7-inning softball beer thing for you is. I'll be honest, I think you can do that rather easily. So I think the real challenge, if you're talking beer, has to be the 9 and 9. And I'm fine with the hot dogs 7 and 7. That's a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah, I
That's
think,
a lot of hot dogs.
you know what? Thinking about the beer thing, I think I'm not gonna say everybody in America, but like a lot of people like me. 6 beers is nothing. The 7th one is where you're like, I don't know. So that, like, for the softball one, there's a little something there. 6 is fine. 7's like, Jesus, man, stop it. 9's crazy, but I think very doable. Although I am worried about the pitch clock.
3-hour game.
They're not 3 hours anymore.
Can you drink 9 beers in 3 hours?
Yeah,
All right. See? There you go.
but they're not 3-hour games.
Yeah, a lot of them are. You got to schedule it out to be a Yankee Red Sox game.
In 2004, like it's different now.
No. It can't be the Aces. You got to get Luis Heel
Right.
versus the fifth starter. You can't have the real guys.
All right.
You can't have a Fried game. You can't have
All right. Yeah.
a Cole start. You can't nothing like that.
All right. Multiple questions with regard to the beer. Is the pacing as such that, hey, the inning ended, you got to pound that? Or is it, can I use a pitcher, a large pitcher, maybe 2 pitchers? Can I use those and take 9 cans of beer or bottles of beer and dump them in and then drink as I see fit throughout the game?
Well, here's the thing.
I've never liked drinking games. I've never liked being told drink now. I will consume at my own pace, in part because of the burping thing. But I never liked playing beer pong or any of that kind of stuff. Where it's like drink. You're like, no, I'll be fine. I promise you. I'll drink this later, but not right now. I don't want a gun to my head. I just want volume over time.
I like the visual of seeing the individual cans of when you are finished. And I think also there's an advantage to doing it individually, not just pouring it into a big pitcher of, a couple innings, whatever's left in that pitcher is kind of warm. And I think that might work against you. You know what I mean? Kind of turn a little bit flat on you. So you might want the freshness of the next beer to be maintained.
It's the carbonation that I'm concerned with. It's the carbonation. It's the bubbles.
Oh, so maybe it's better if you pour. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You want flat beer?
I want flatter beer.
Does that even count?
I think so. I think it counts just fine. What do you care?
No. I like the visual. I like to see 9 empty cans lined up next to your corpse. is the visual that I want. I want a chalk outline made of cans.
What's the challenge?
I will leave I have made 2 challenges. I have delivered 2 challenges.
No, we've brainstormed ideas. You haven't said, Brad, you can't do this, or Brad, I know you can do this, or however you manipulate me psychologically. You haven't done that.
I mean, I feel like that part is done.
We just talked about. I know. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, what you did is you just walked yourself
into my grave.
Yeah, you escaped the house with Michael Myers in it, and then you got outside and said, "Oh dang, I think I forgot my keys," and you walked right back in the house. When it's like, forget the keys, run. But you went back in the house for your keys, and now here you are with the beer and the hot dogs.
All right, I'm gonna go through the chat and see what people are saying with regard to this.
What do your fans want? Because I mean, that's really what it's all about.
All right.
They've been with us through pistachios and donuts.
All right. Scott, you can get Brad to do it, at least the 9 dogs. Better be taped. Brad, if I drank 9 beers, am drunk. Yeah. September, here we come. Brad, you can do it. Ray says I'm in. I don't know if
Yes.
I'm in means I'm in to watch Brad, or I'll try it too. We'll have to clarify that with Ray. 7 beers, 7 hot dogs during the 7th inning stretch. That's insane. If you cut it to 7, you got to do both. I'm not doing both. We've established.
I would love to see you do both.
I'm disgusted by both. I'm not doing both. That's gross. I think either one is doable. I think the 2 together is disgusting, and I want nothing to do with it. And that was the overall point on the show yesterday.
Because I'm picturing people in the regular stands that have come out to watch a softball game when it's like the start of the 6th inning, and all of a sudden there's a huge cheer, and they're like, "What's going on? There's nothing happening during the game that should result in a cheer."
Right.
And then they realize it's you barfing, and we're all just super happy
Sitting next to Ron Balter.
Right? You just
All right.
you had to move James Patterson out of the way so you could vomit.
Ray says we're definitely doing this at the fantasy football draft this year. No, we're not. AC Man.
Ooh, yeah.
No.
Sure.
Little League World Series is a good time. What kind of beer does Brad like most? IPA, sour, Pilsner, lager, red ale, stout. It's IPA, but in this case, it would just be light beer. Come on. I drank, pucker. I drank 9 beers and ate 9 hot dogs at a Niagara Falls Americans game last year. He says, I ate the hot dogs first, then drank the beers. Still counts.
Yep.
Tried at the Bison's game once, got sick. What else? There's a lot more here. Got to be in a cup, not a can. Yeah, I can't. It's a cup. It's a plastic cup.
Yeah, I'm saying you can open the can and pour it. I want the empty can as
You want the dead soldiers.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I don't hate that.
You can pour it in whatever. I'm just saying I like the visual and the broadcast version of the audio of another can opening. You can pour it into a cup. Yeah, I got no problem with that.
All right. Ray said, I'll do it too. That's Supreme Court Justice Ray Walter saying, the great Ray Walter saying, I'll do it too. Nick says, I think I could do 9 IPAs and 3 hot dogs. That's not a thing. AC Man says 9 IPAs is diabolical. Ray says, doesn't sound disgusting. Sounds like a great day. That's what I'm saying. Either of those things sounds fun. 2 of them sounds disgusting. No interest. One or the other, I'm in. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. Right now, I'm hoping that there is a softball game that UB has scheduled a softball game either before or after the spring game in April.
I'll take a look at the schedule.
Yeah, because that would be perfect. Because then we can roll right into one or the other. That's
UB softball schedule 2026. Let's do it at James Madison.
Yeah, let's go to the Florida State tournament.
All right. It seems like they've been playing for a while. All right.
Yeah.
Up next, March 27th. That's today. At Bowling Green. No. They play at Bowling Green for 3. Home against Niagara next week. Can't. I'm on the radio. Sorry. April 3rd. Home against Miami. April 3rd, 4th. There's a doubleheader. A doubleheader Saturday, April 4th. That's Final Four, right? Saturday, April 4th, doubleheader. Home against Miami. And they're at Amherst, or at Massachusetts, I should say. Saturday, April 11th. Away, sorry. Home against Lemoyne. All right, this looks like a candidate right here. Home, April 17th and 18th. It's Friday, Saturday. They play Friday at 3. Ooh, I don't like this. When they have a doubleheader, it's at 1 and 3.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
That's tight. But there's a home doubleheader against Central Michigan, April 18th, which is a Saturday, 1 and 3 p.m. And that's before baseball starts for the kids. They're home against Syracuse. Ooh, you could come to town. No, it's a Tuesday. Home against Syracuse, no good. And then home against...
What do they got the 25th there?
They're on the road at Toledo.
Oh.
Is that the spring game?
Yeah.
The following weekend, though, they're home against Ball State. Same thing. These weekend things seem to be 3 p.m. game on Friday and then 1 and 3 p.m. on Saturday. So really, our prime candidates here are April 18th, Saturday, April 18th, and Saturday, May 2nd are the 2 potential hot dog days at Nan Harvey Field. We'll talk about it off the air. Ray said, I can do the 18th. Lock it in. Come on, Ray. All right. So you said you had a lot of... Okay, look, man. You said you had a lot of stuff, and now it's 11:49, and all we've talked about is hot dogs and beer.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Is that what you meant when you said you have a lot of stuff? Did you mean we're going to do 45 minutes of this?
I mean, I pretty much thought that that's the way it was going to go. That's usually what happens when we get talking about awesome stuff.
So yesterday, right before the show started, somebody sent me a link to the thing about all the new foods at the stadiums. And I was like, I can't start the show with this because that's all I'll do. I'll do 2 hours of talking about food at baseball games. And then I was like, I can't save it for tomorrow because I know I would love to have Scott on to talk about this stuff, but I know that will be an entire hour with Scott, so I didn't want to waste the hour. So I did an hour of this yesterday by myself so as to make sure that our hour could be a real hour. And then we did this again. We keep doing this.
There's nothing real. There's nothing real.
Nothing more real. It's pretty real. You got anything else?
Yeah, I've got a couple of other things. A couple of other quick things.
All right,
here.
quick. Yeah, quick.
Basketball last night was fun.
Yes.
Texas Purdue, great game. But neither team could pull away from the other. Last second tip in, basically decided by the fact that Texas, on the last possession, for fear of him falling out, pulled their big man off of the floor with 11 seconds to go, and that was the difference. Them deciding to give up the height for the foul is the reason why they gave up a offensive rebound tip into Purdue and lost the game.
I was watching on split screen, so I didn't even notice that had happened. There was also that weird play where it went out of bounds and the shot clock was in, and like they messed that up. That got mangled.
Just still a really good game. And then the night games were not as close, but Arizona looks real good. Real good. Always nice to see John Calipari get smacked around a little bit, which he did.
Felicia style.
Oh my goodness, that was brutal. To see how Arizona just every possession. It felt like every possession they scored for the entire game. Brilliant performance by them. Also in college basketball, we talked a lot about how the Syracuse job was open. Is now closed. McNamara,
that makes everyone happy, right?
Yeah, everybody's happy there. That's fine. I'm excited about it. Everyone's excited. But now North Carolina has come open, and that is, listen, I am biased and I love Syracuse, and that is a top tier job. North Carolina is as blue blood of anything in any sport as it gets.
Sure.
Basketball, men's basketball. There's no real direct answer to who's going to get this job right now.
Well, everybody's on the table.
That's the most interesting thing.
They're putting up candidate. I mean, just articles I'm reading, but Nate Oates is on the list. Like maybe
I was going to say
he's
Nate
busy.
To me seems like he's the one closest to what I think that they would want to do.
Right.
But
he can't possibly be available, right? I mean, doesn't Bama just go over the top of anything that they would offer to keep him around? I mean, he's going to be
North Carolina, man. You're talking about hanging out with Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
you're talking about.
But I think
having,
Nate Oates, Go ahead. Sorry.
Is Nate to the point right now with Alabama that he knows he can be good, but he's not going to get there?
No, I've got them winning it. I've got them winning it this year again. And I don't fully expect it, but I wanted to, zig when other people are zagging and give myself a chance and have a different champion than everyone else. But they've got a chance in every game. I believe in him as an absolute top-tier coach in the country, and Bama's got the money to pay him. They've got the money to pay players. Like, what's better about the UNC job than the Bama job? And I don't mean the Bama job when Nate took it. I mean the Bama job now. He went in, he proved himself. Like, what?
Could be easier to get kids to want to play for North Carolina than it is to get them to want to play at Alabama. Because even though the money is there, there's a different thing about the baby blue and the legacy that's there.
To kids or to their parents? I mean, to me, there's a different thing.
Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe all of that is faded enough in the past where it doesn't matter anymore. But
like, there's no kid. It's like I want to play there because Dean Smith coached there. Maybe because Jordan played there. Maybe that. But
But Jordan, Vince Carter.
No, I know all of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Another thing off the beaten path here, but I don't know if you saw this week that because of all the problems in the airports, they've started to just move ICE agents
Yes.
into doing the TSA jobs.
Yeah, that's intelligent. Very, very wise move.
I just want to say a suggestion would be, instead of paying the ICE agents their salary and then also paying for them to, have to live in these areas now, we just pay the TSA guys that already live there and already are doing the job. We could just pay them. Wild idea. Just throwing it out there.
I got another one. I got another idea.
Okay.
Let's not have either one of them there, and let's just let people get on airplanes again.
Oof.
Give it a shot. See how it goes. Just throwing it out there.
Bad.
You think it's a bad idea?
Here's the thing. There's two things I would worry about with that. One, we're currently at war with
everyone.
Iran, picking fights with everybody.
Yep.
But then two, like, people from Florida fly.
No, never mind. All right. You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, good
like,
point.
I'm at this point, I am more concerned with
meth heads stabbing people. Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want that. You're right. We should do something.
Than the other way. Okay. Here's something. Did you hear Barry Bonds on the opening day game of Yankees Giants talk about his almost signing with the Yankees? Did you hear that? Did you see? Did you read the quote?
All I saw of Barry Bonds was his head is looking more like Pirate's head than Giant's head, because he's off of stuff at this point. And when I turned on Netflix for the first time, so the Sabres were on too. So I, flipping back and forth. And the first time I saw him, it was Barry Bonds somewhere in the stadium while talking to Bert Kreischer in a kayak. And I thought, this isn't baseball. So that's all. But I don't know what he said about the Yankees. What did he say about the Yankees?
Well, he said now that George Steinbrenner is dead, he can tell this story, and said that when he was a free agent, Steinbrenner called him, offered him what he wanted, and he was set to accept it. And Steinbrenner said, the only thing is you have to accept it by 3 p.m. today. And Bonds didn't like that and said no.
Huh?
And then he went and they waited, and later in the day, the Giants made him an offer, and he said, all right, I'll just go home to the Giants then instead of the New York Yankees. Now, I got to be honest. I think that is kind of BS.
Why?
It just doesn't. If Steinbrenner wants the guy, I don't think that he's going to put a time limit on it like that. It just doesn't seem. Plus, Bonds is a known liar, but let's take him at his word.
Well, there's that. Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, there is that. That there's been several decades of Bonds being a liar, but it's not interesting to me in the fact that it happened, or if the story is 100% true. It's interesting to me to think that the decision Bonds made that day had a lot of, I think, unintended consequences to his life and his career, that I wonder if, looking back, he would consider doing something different. Because
Balco wasn't in New York.
Well, right. But if he does choose to go to New York, leaving Pittsburgh, does that change his viewpoint about the attention that he wasn't getting? Because if he's a New York Yankee, he would have been getting all the attention that he would crave. And I wonder if he doesn't fall for the steroids, because, I mean, it's widely known. He saw what happened with Sosa and McGuire. Everybody gave them attention. He didn't get any for being as great as he is. And he said, screw it, I'm going to do it too, and show you that, when I'm doing it, I can do that too. When you're on the New York Yankees, you get that attention naturally. You don't have to do all the extra stuff. So I wonder if maybe his decision-making on some of those things changed. if he does actually sign up with the New York Yankees. And then as a Yankee fan, Bond's presence there probably completely changes the rest of the 90s. How do they approach the mid-90s when Bonds is on the team? I bet you there's a totally different approach to it where they're not going to be as patient and say, no, we're not going to trade a young Bernie Williams. No, Jeter is going to come up and be able to fill those spots. Those core four guys that Yankee fans and even the organization at this point with their numbers out in center field have immortalized. Do any of those guys come up, or is the entire approach different because now they have Bonds in the outfield?
Who's the fourth? It's Posada. Who's the fourth? Pettit?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is a different story. And it's also, I mean, the Yankees were pretty irrelevant in that era, leading. So 93 is when Bonds goes to San Francisco. And the Yankees kind of burst on the scene in 96, right? I mean, that's Jeter's rookie year, and they went in, they beat the Braves, all that stuff.
Well, 95, they had the good season. 95 was the
lost
first
to the
time.
Mariners, right? Is that
lost to the Mariners
okay.
was the first time, the only time they were able to get Mattingly to the playoffs.
Okay.
And then he retired because of the back. They brought in Joe Torre. They got rid of Buck Showalter.
Yes. Okay.
But in
right,
the
so they weren't irrelevant, but they were coming. It was a.
But in 93, 94, they were in the process of rebuilding. Steinbrenner, for the whole reason the core four even happened was Steinbrenner wasn't there for a year because he got suspended. And then other people got to say, no, we're not trading prospects for, Kevin Moss or whoever the hell was the flavor of the month. That whole situation could be drastically different for one of the largest dynasties the Yankees have ever had. And, again, for Bonds, is Bonds now in the Hall of Fame if he goes to the Yankees and doesn't feel the attention draw and the need to do what he did?
Yeah, 100%. He should be in the Hall of Fame now.
Right.
They should close the Hall of Fame because Bonds isn't in it. I mean, who cares?
But that argument aside, I'm just saying it's interesting to think
he's in the Hall of Fame.
What could have been.
He's a seven-time MVP. He's a seven-time MVP.
Does he even need to juice with the short porch?
No.
You know what I mean? Like he would have been putting up numbers anyway. You don't have to be.
Yeah, you know what though?
Brett Gardner's putting guys out, putting it out in the short porch. What's Barry Bonds going to do?
Well, okay. I think I like all of the stuff you said, and I believe in all of it. That said, that one season was exclusively about these two guys bringing baseball back into prominence. And if he was left out of that because he only hit 44 home runs that year instead of 66, I think he probably still would have felt it. I think he was susceptible to it. He was one of the greatest players that had ever played the game already and still felt unloved. I don't know that New York fixes that for him. At the beginning part is fine. And maybe if they're winning World Series, maybe it's different. But I think his ego is what led him to the Balco situation.
Yeah.
And so I think
you're throwing it out there.
But even there, you still get 5 or 6 years of regular Bonds who had already been. I mean, he was an MVP in 90 and in 92 and in 93, his first year with the Giants. So his last year with the Pirates and his first year with the Giants, he's an MVP. He finished 4th the year after that, 12th, 5th, 8th, 24th, and then 2nd, and then 1st 4 times in a row.
Right.
So it's good. It's a good question. I like it. I don't want to pick it apart.
It. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. That was it.
That's it? You said I got a lot. You had hot dogs and Barry Bonds and Calipari. All right, whatever, man.
North Carolina.
Carolina, you had a little ska thing. All right.
Well, I'll drop this in. We talked about it on Monday. I ended up actually being successful in my journey to get Jay-Z tickets at Yankee Stadium. So
that's pretty great.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. only one night. You can't get two. You know, you got to pick one. And
he's doing
go.
2?
Yeah, it's Friday. He's doing Reasonable Doubt, his first album, 30th anniversary, and then doing on Saturday, he's doing the Blueprint, 25th anniversary.
And you got what?
And
Blueprint?
I got Saturday tickets to the Blueprint. Yes.
I think I like Blueprint better.
Me too.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's a groundbreaking album. Came out in 01. It's you know, if you're stacking up his albums, I think that Blueprint might be number 1.
So much so that he made more albums called The Blueprint.
Right.
Right? I mean,
kept churning them out.
that's his, you know who else did that? You know who he got the idea from? Queensryche.
Who? Oh, Lord.
Queensryche. They did Operation Mindcrime, clearly their best album. And then 20 plus years later, they put out Operation Mindcrime 2.
Right.
Just try to capitalize. And it was smart of Jay-Z
They
to
were
pay
all
attention
over
to Jeff Tate and Chris DeGarmo and Scott Rockenfield. Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Legends.
Yep. All right. I'm done. Well, I'm not doing shows
Okay.
next week.
Well, you are, just not here.
Right, but I mean, for the part where we talk for an hour on Monday and an hour on Friday is not going to...
You got to go hang out with your cool friends. I hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk soon.
Maybe I'll call in as
Oh, yeah.
Steve from Downingtown.
From where? What did you just say?
Downingtown.
Tommy, that's not a thing.
You know,
All right.
I'll think of something.
That's fine. All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks, man.
See ya.
Bye. There's Scott Wilson. Sorry, I didn't put his cartoon face on the screen. I lost track of how to do that. Want to watch me try to do it in real time? Here, watch this. All right. I'm going to switch out of studio mode into this. Okay, so now any change I make on my screen will happen right in front of you. So typically what I would do is I'd go to this thing called, it says BKR plus phone, and that's me talking to somebody. So now it looks like that, but that's all it is me there. So then I've got green screen. What if I move that to the top? Move that to the top. What did that do? Nothing. Oh, it didn't actually go there. Hang on. So this is going to be the end of the show. Maybe I'll play ska songs. All right, so now I got that. And now I've got Scott Wilson. And it's lit up. The eyeball is lit. Nope. See, I take that. Then it just goes black. See, I just clicked Scott Wilson, and what showed up is me. I don't know why that is. Can I show Bob? What if I get rid of Scott? Look, there's Bob's name. If I open this. Nope. See, nothing's really happening. Can I make John Fuller show up? No. Oh, okay. So now I've got John Fuller and Bob's name. I can get rid of Bob's name. There's John. And what if I put myself? Where is the... I've lost the ability to put myself on the screen in this setting also. If I take that off. Yeah, I don't remember how to do it. I'll figure it out. At some point, I'll figure it out. But as of right now, it won't be next week because I'm not doing a show next week. So that's the end of the show for today and for this week. If you like listening to the stuff I do, you can't watch, which is better. You'll just listen. I'll be on WGR next week, 1 to 3 p.m. with Owen Parker the first 3 days and Tim Graham Thursday, Friday. But Tim Graham will be on each of the other 3 days because he's going to be live from the NFL owners meetings in Phoenix. He'll be on by phone. It'll all make sense. But please tune in to WGR next week from 1 to 3. That's it for episode 285. I got to make a plan for 300. Oh, I didn't do any of the stuff I wrote down. I wrote down a thing about the weather yesterday. How stupid our weather is. Yesterday, high of 61 and pouring. And then today, high of 31 and sunny. That's stupid. I don't care about that. I can save that. I wanted to talk to Scott about Kyle Tucker. Oh, well. Instead, we talked about hot dogs. All right, I'm done. Thank you. Do you want ska or do you want? Can I just leave? I'll just go listen to ska by yourself. We could play the beer song by Mustard Plug, and then it'll be done. One song, then we leave. Thanks for listening. It's Riter Radio. Bye.